Non-noble varieties is perfectly okay. I don't see an issue with it at all. G'day Kava lovers, me again. Well, I wanted to give you a bit of information about non-noble varieties of Kava and why it may not be suitable for everyone. Look, in my personal opinion, non-noble varieties of Kava are completely safe. Okay, it depends how you drink it. Now, for example, Fiji and Tonga, they drink Kava in a very similar fashion, with a large group of people for extended periods of time, and we're talking about large quantities of Kava. Come on, let's cross. Come on, buddy. I'm just walking the dog. So, consuming it in this fashion, now let's, for the sake of this conversation, call it a traditional setting, okay? It may not be ceremonial, it may not be whatever. In a traditional setting, non-noble varieties of Kava is probably not the best idea. However, if consumed in moderation, if consumed the way we consume it in Western cultures or Western countries, it's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it, okay? If you're not sitting down for hours and hours consuming boatloads of Kava, then it's perfectly okay. I don't see an issue with it, to be honest. The thing is, in New Zealand, the primary consumers of Kava are Pacific Islanders. Now, Pacific Islanders, they drink in different fashions, okay? So, for example, Fiji and Tonga, they consume Kava in much the same way. Vanuatu, they consume it quite differently. So, importing non-noble varieties of Kava is probably not the best idea for New Zealand. For Western cultures who don't physically have the time to sit down for 6-7 hours and consume Kava by the boatload, non-noble varieties is perfectly okay. I don't see an issue with it at all. I know the Americans love their non-noble varieties, and I know they stand by it 100%, and I get it. Now, if consumed in moderation, if consumed, a couple times a week, no issue at all. It's actually a really nice Kava to help you get to sleep. I don't particularly like the taste myself, but there's nothing really wrong with it. You're not in danger of dying, or you're not in danger of liver toxicity or any bullshit like that, okay? So, to just put it out there, non-noble varieties consumed in moderation is perfectly okay. Alright? Consumed in a traditional setting where you drink for extended periods of time and you drink Kava by the boatload is probably not the best idea. Okay, it's probably gonna give you quite a nasty hangover. But like I said, in Western cultures, in Kava bar settings, if you're consuming it individually, if you're consuming it 2 to 3 times a week, hey, there's no issue at all. So yeah, that's my take on non-noble varieties of Kava. But consuming it every day, consuming large quantities of it, probably not the best idea. The law they're trying to pass in New Zealand to prohibit non-noble varieties of Kava being sold. This is, in my opinion, to protect the drinking varieties. See, these noble Kavas have been cultivated for hundreds of years from people who enjoy to drink this type of Kava and in their own traditional setting, particularly around Fiji, because even though they import quite a substantial amount of non-noble Kava, it's always mixed. No one in Fiji will drink it straight. Anyone in Fiji will tell you, if say, hey, look, and you tell them it's, let's just call it non-noble varieties, the universal Fijian reaction to being offered a non-noble variety of Kava is because it totally brings you back to that time you tried it. You remember waking up feeling like you just come out of an autopsy, and hey, look, this is just because of the way we drink it in Fiji. All right, we don't drink it by the boatload. We drink it for extended periods of time, and it's just not a good idea to do that with non-noble varieties. Okay, noble Kava has been grown specifically for a reason over hundreds of years, and that's why we drink it. That's why Tongan community will primarily look for Tongan Kava, okay, and that's why the Fijian community will prefer to drink Fijian Kava. There's nothing sinister about it. It's not going to cause you liver toxicity. It's not going to cause you any harm. is what it is. Different strokes for different folks, I guess. Yeah, so that's my take. Hope you enjoyed the brief info session. And yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you really soon. Bye for now.